Jack Darby here, and when I'm not taking rides with RC, I like watching video reviews from Optibotimus.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of your support, especially those of you that are Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Legacy Evolution Leader Class Prime Universe SKYQUAKE. One of my all-time favorite characters from the Transformers Prime show. I am super excited to see him coming to us in this new Legacy line. For the package, you can see absolutely gorgeous art of him in his robot and his vehicle mode. Of course, you got the Transformers Legacy Evolution logo down there, Transformers, Generations. Come around to the top, you can see you got a little bit of a QR code that if you want to scan that, I'll hold that there for you. You guys can scan that and get his bio. Of course, it says Transformers Legacy Evolution. The side here has an up-close image of his absolutely cool face. The front of his jet mode. The other side here has a lot of other characters that are in this Legacy Evolution line, some of which we've already taken a look at. And then when you come around to the back, you have a piece of paper. But you can see that he transforms in 29 steps. You got images of him in his jet and his robot mode, and then his Evo Fusion. He holds his gun. And then, what's this? He can attach bots to him, I guess. Maybe that's part of the Evo Fusion. I don't know. Either way, don't really care. And what's fun is, if we're going to SKYQUAKE, we're probably going to get Dreadwing as well. Which also, that one I'm really excited about. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So, without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have SKYQUAKE open up out of his packaging and in his SKYQUAKing jet mode. And this guy is really very, very cool looking. An absolute wonderful representation of him while kind of updating him to give him a little bit more of a unique look. For the most part, he nails that aesthetic that SKYQUAKE had in the original Transformers Prime series. But much like all of these new Transformer Legacy universe figures, he does take on a slightly different look to him. Now, I don't have that original to kind of compare him. I have gotten rid of all of my Transformers Prime figures, which now I kind of regret it, but I'm really liking what they're doing with this, whether it be RC, Bulkhead, Knockout. I think they're looking really very, very cool. And SKYQUAKE here definitely is as well. As you can see, fairly large size for him, bringing in Knockout to do a comparison. I mean, he's a little itty-bitty card, but you can see that there is a good size difference between these. But you can really see just how much bigger the character was than somebody like Knockout. And a guy like this is going to easily be able to go toe-to-toe with somebody like Bulkhead, who's a really big character as well. Obviously, as a jet, a lot of times the top is the best look, and he does look really good. But one thing that's interesting, like the bottom doesn't really look all that ugly, to be totally honest with you. I mean, it's pretty decent, honestly. He does have his cannon that can store underneath here, and it cleans up a little bit better. And then you also do get a little bit better access to his landing gear. You can see the back tires here. When this is plugged in to this little crotch section, it does kind of push things out, so you can kind of see it doesn't really line up very good. Getting rid of this, though, allows you to get the landing gear here and then here in the front to extend, and then you can have him sit perfectly fine. But then you have this big giant cannon, which, I mean, you got a couple different ports that you can put this in different areas, but it just, all of that's going to seem weird. You got one here, you got one here, you got a couple underside ones, that which again is just going to mess up with that. This is a little bit more recessed. I wish it was a little bit more, or there was a little bit better of a gap area here, but you can see that it kind of fits along here. I'm dropping it. It does kind of fit along the underside pretty decently. I'll flip that around. Wow, I just can't hold on to anything. But again, it just doesn't give enough clearance for him. And then you got underneath the wings here, which again, You can do that, but it really does look kind of goofy. The gun is really cool, though. You do have this kind of cannon thing going on where it's a Gatling gun, but you can also take this, bring this up, and he can hold it much like you would a Gatling gun and get a really cool pose. You do have this section, which is kind of, I guess, meant to be like a bullet or a magazine thing, but realistically, this is going to, and I can never, where's the separation? There you go. Come on, pull that out. Well, something like that. Come on, little guy. You mean little guy? Come on, you can do it. I'm talking about myself. I don't remember how to get this out. So let's see. We're gonna take this and somehow wedge something. Is that coming out? No. What's going on, man? It folds out to be a freaking sword, okay? And that's the handle for it. So, I don't know what, it's a sword. It's a sword. You get the idea. I'll figure it out. But jet mode wise is really stellar, looks really cool, and really does evoke that look that he had in the cartoon, and does a great job of really homaging him. Now, to transform him, he is a bit more complex than I anticipated he would be. It's not bad. I cannot hold, my fingers are not working today. But he is a little bit more complex than I really initially thought he was going to be. First, I'm going to take these, bring these up, just to kind of set them along the side, just like so, which already makes this guy look super cool. It's like he's a giant dagger thing. Come around here, you're going to detach these wings from what are going to become the legs. And then you just take these guys, bring these down and around. And then you're going to rotate that there. This part does get a little bit tricky because you're rotating. And I can't get that. You want to kind of keep that straight to be able to rotate all the way around. Come on. And then you can hinge the rest. There we go. So bring that down like that. Again, kind of rotate him at this little hip section so that you can get that and extend that down just like so. Come around here to these legs. Now you're going to take this section here, fold that forward, and then this detaches, and then this is going to rotate around, and then you got a little tab right here that you bring this up, and that will lock in right on the back, which does do a pretty decent job of filling that little back section, because you can see there is a little bit of a cavity there, but that kind of hides it. That's decent, and I'm okay with that. That's pretty good. And then we're going to split this just like that. And then these bits here are going to rotate around. So they will collapse back together, but first you want to just bring these out. Just kind of loosen that up. Kind of bring that around to the side. These arms underneath here are going to fold out. Split these, and then these are going to swivel out. Just kind of get these out of the way. And then this whole section here, you want to rotate his waist, and then this, there we go. This bit right here is going to swivel down. Swivel that one down, and that brings it around to the back. And you can rotate this back around, and this section here will collapse down, and then you can bring these arms out again, just kind of getting those out of the way. This is going to accordion upward. There we go. We'll play with that here in a minute. Fold these little bits out. This is going to detach. This will fold down, and then this whole thing comes back and around. And you want to put these kind of in the middle, and then again, kind of hinge these forward a little bit. This is going to, now this, I don't necessarily like how this tabs in here and locks into place, but this section comes down and will, the little under section here locks in there, just like that. So that waist piece is connected by that little tiny bit, which I don't think is very good, but it's not terrible. I do just wish it was a little bit better. And then these are going to swivel back like that. And then you can bring these arms down. And then this just hinges forward. Doesn't really do much in terms of locking, which is definitely unfortunate. But want to rotate that around like that. And that's going to sit down here. You kind of have to pull these a little bit forward, get that in. Again, get that arm out of the way. I want to make sure that that's completely locked in. It doesn't like stay totally secure, and that's one aspect that I wish was done a little bit better. This is going to collapse up, and then these will connect along the back. Can't get that there. There we go. Come on, and then. And yeah, there's a little tiny slot thing here. It's kind of hard to see. But that's going to shift up and lock there. And that is, so you got this, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. You got inside here, you got this little groove section that this armature is going to come up and kind of fit into. It doesn't really sit there all that well, though. It kind of does, but it doesn't really securely lock into place. So let's connect these just like that, and then we can fiddle with that a little bit. Like, see right there, and you push it up. And that one probably moved, and that. Oh, well, why did you not stay connected? There we go. Do that. But yeah, see, like that doesn't stay. There we go. Okay, so push that there, and push that there. So it's like you're kind of pushing this upper section down and just fiddling with it. These are going to fold out. One thing that's really nice is they put these little panels here. These panels literally are just designed to cover this hole. They didn't need to put that there, which that's really quite impressive that they actually did. They could have just left an empty cavity right there, but this is a higher price point figure, so it makes sense that they would put a little bit extra into it. And then get that lined up right there. Bring that down and around. And then again, kind of shift these little shoulder bits forward. The design, I feel, could be a little bit better here because it's just not staying secure. But getting them in that kind of configuration, that's basically what you're going to want for them. And like I was talking about, this is where I feel like the biggest deviation kind of happens with him, because this whole section is meant to be rotated around. His wings were down here, kind of in a downward sort of positioning. And with this, it just isn't. But ultimately, there you have him in his otherwise very cool and obviously inspired looking robot mode. Now, one thing that I was kind of struggling with, as you can see through the transformation, this is a slight addendum to the video, is that this middle section here, right, is supposed to, at least it looks like it's supposed to lock into place. I don't know. Let me see if I can come in here. You can kind of see that little groove right there, and that bar is supposed to slot in. It doesn't do a good job of locking into place right in here. When you do that, it kind of pulls this away, and this needs to be fully compressed down. As soon as you do it, you can see that pops up. So once you move it up, it's like, it feels like something is not properly designed there or something. I don't know entirely. It is frustrating for me because it creates kind of a looseness here. But one thing that also I noticed was a little bit easier is this. So when you have this here, you can split this. And if you get that out of the way, you have this whole section right here with the cockpit. That sits down here. When that's there, kind of pushes on that a little bit. I don't know. I honestly don't remember if the instructions show it. But if you take this and lift this up and bring this around and put that there, and then connect all of this, it kind of gives a little bit more clearance. So squeeze that in there. It sits there, but now this can kind of sit down a little bit better. And I just feel like that's not as far up as it really should need to be to kind of collapse everything and get everything kind of squeezed into place properly. I actually went and watched Emgo's video, and one thing that I noticed is that he doesn't even really talk about this, which is kind of unfortunate because it's clear that that's meant to do it, but as soon as you lift this whole thing up and kind of lock that, it makes this kind of separate, and I don't know. You can do whatever you want with your toy. I just don't like how that really is designed, but the overall look on him is still cool. One thing that is worth noting, though, is that this has a ratchet joint that you can hear. This one had one, now it doesn't. Moving it around, and like the ratchet joint is, you can hear it doesn't sound good. I don't like that at all. I also don't like how these just kind of flex around. Now that's because of his Gatling gun weapon, which you can hold this here, undersling it like that, and then kind of rotate that around like that, although I feel like that's gonna be kind of weird, like that. That's not how you hold a Gatling gun, but let's see, maybe it's better on this side, or rotate that. No, I guess you could kind of rotate that. So peg that underneath there, and then yeah, see that? It is a pain in the butt, but let's see. How on earth? You have to be creative, apparently, and I am not creative on doing this. So, does that fold out more? No, that's as far as it goes. I don't know, because you can't really. Well, I guess you kind of can. All right. I don't know. I'm apparently not very good at this. I mean, I guess you could do that with them. And I just, like I said, I'm not very good at it. And then this. Okay, so I did figure this out. So you have like this little notch here in the back that you pull that out, and you look, I told you it was a sword. It is a little bit piddly, though. I feel like his sword in the cartoon was much more imposing, but getting him to hold that is apparently a chore. What is happening here? Why is that not even going into his hand? What? Is it grooved? That's really weird. It's kind of... It doesn't go in that way. What is happening? What is going on in the world right now? There. All right. Well, I guess it works on that one. A lot about this guy should be cool. I just... For whatever reason, it's kind of falling apart, honestly. I mean, he's a solid-looking figure, but definitely is a bit of a letdown in some respects. Looks cool, but a lot of the design bits on him just do not coincide with a lot of the consistency that we've been seeing with Hasbro in terms of their recent designs. Now, as I talked about, him being a larger size figure, he fits very nicely with a lot of them. Specifically here with Bulkhead. Now, Bulkhead is a big guy, as you can see, but SKYQUAKE was always larger. He was one of the biggest Decepticons, rivaling Megatron in terms of the overall size. And honestly, it makes sense. So I do like the scale here, but again, you can kind of see the divergence from that more prime aesthetic. SKYQUAKE here really does utilize a lot of different elements, such as his look in the original G1 toy, as well as the Transformers Prime series. So they take a lot of different inspiration with them. I kind of wish that they didn't. It's not that he's a bad toy or anything. I just feel like they should just pick something and go with it. The detail-wise is really stellar on him. Coming in to take a closer look at him, you can see you have a really nice Decepticon logo. You have this completely different chest section here, which is more reminiscent of how the G1 toy looked. Gorgeous head sculpt, if it'll focus on it. That is really spectacular looking. I love that look. Almost kind of looks like a Decepticon logo right there. A lot of the other details are really good, just a little bit lackluster for me, and that's definitely unfortunate, because I really want to like this guy. Articulation wise, the head is on a ball joint, so you get a good range of motion with it. These little shoulder bits kind of get out of the way when you want to move things around, and it kind of makes it a little bit ugly. You can see that you do have the swivel here. You have this butterfly joint. You have a ratchet joint typically there. You have a bicep rotation right there. You have a double joint here at the elbow, and actually part of the transformation I didn't extend it, but you could probably figure it out. The wrists do rotate, which is nice to see. You do have a waist rotation right there, but then you can see like kind of how loose it is. It doesn't lock down there very securely. The hips here move forward and back. Those are soft ratchets. You have some more clicky ratchets going in and out. You have a rotation at the upper part of the thigh. You have two bends here at the knee for his massive legs. The ankles do have some tilt. It's not a ton. And then when you come around to the back, you've got this little section here that's his thruster. It kind of moves around a little bit, but doesn't really do too terribly much to kind of help him. You can kind of see it kind of angles there, just all over the place. And then the toes do move. So in general, he's a decent figure. But as I said, really is subpar, I feel, when you compare him to a lot of the recent ones that we've gotten. And at a higher price point, I expect more. I really, really do. Backpack is what it is, but this is definitely a case where I feel like the overall execution is not up to the standard that I had. So while the jet mode looks fantastic, the transformation is a bit of a mess. It's, like I said, it's a little bit more complex than I thought it was going to be. And realistically, the transformation is not bad. It's just, it doesn't come together as well as it should. Robot mode looks decent, but there are definitely aspects of him that are hurt by some of those design choices, such as the stability here with this little middle section. Colors on him look really good. It's got that green, the silver. There's a lot that's good about him, but there's an equal amount that really isn't. So for those reasons, do I recommend him? I still do. However, my recommendation is that you wait until like there's nothing else for you to buy. So there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Transformers Legacy SKYQUAKE. If this figure is one that you would like to add to your collection, he is available right now, so good luck and happy hunting. Or you can do the real simple thing and go online into places like Big Bad Toy Store or even Entertainment Earth. For both of those places, I'll put links right down there in the video description, where you can swing on over there and check out availability on him, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. Also, if you do choose to use my link to go to Entertainment Earth, in addition to getting free shipping on orders over a certain amount, clicking that link will also save you 10% off of any in-stock order, helping to help you save some money and helping to show your support for my channel. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. And finally, guys, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, and until next time, this is Optibotimus saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.